have to turn it through?
Did I reverse the camera so it's filming you? And I believe. Supposed to be able to make this screen big.
We can, it's, I don't know what it means.
Double tap. I already tried that.
Ask one of the girls, they'll know.
The only person here apparently is Jessica.
Jessica, can you hear me? Is my mic on?
Yes, I can hear you.
Are you a tech person?
Not with Zoom on the phone. If I was on my computer, I could probably tell you, but I don't know much on the phone.
Oh, well, it's the phone thing that we're trying to figure out. Yeah. Okay. Well, probably Mary Lynn or Susan will be here, so maybe they'll be able to answer Dave's question because he's our IT guy.
So G, before too many people get here, since I missed the last session because I had to work, can you tell me what I was supposed to draw before I do the grid so I could do my grid real quick?
Real quick? Oh, sure. You're supposed to, here, I'm going to show you on the big one. Before you start your grid, do a stippling pattern. Can you see that? I don't know if it's, can you see it? Jessica?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, do a grid, do a stippling pattern all the way down, and that's what we're going to follow with our metallic thread. Do it big, don't do it small or you'll run out of thread.
Hi.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elaine, is that you?
Yes,
How you doing?
I'm okay, thank you.
Have you gotten any further on your project?
No,
Okay, well,
Today I'm-
we're gonna,
go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Today I'm going to try and figure out how to get two 11-inch squares out of a fat quarter. I'm going to have to sew them together, but it's okay.
You've got, that's a Steph problem. That's not a G problem.
It's okay.
Anyway, we're talking about, I'm going to show again how to move your needle position so that you always have a guide for your grid before we go on to the free motion portion. Because their last class that Steph recorded got lost someplace in the unknown. And so I did a quick one on Friday and posted it on Saturday because the internet went out. So it's up on YouTube and it's part 2. And everybody should have gotten a link to it. Hold on, Dave's making noise. Lots of noise. And so you can go back and refresh yourself on that. But the one thing I didn't show was changing the needle position so that we could get our grid perfect without throwing it out. So I'm going to go over that really quick for people that missed it, and then we'll wait. How many people do we have here?
Well, right now it all looks like you got Elaine. Jessica disappeared. She may not have her video on, so.
Well, there would be a box with her name. Oh, you
Look,
can't
you
see
can make cuffs with what's left from your snowman sock.
What'd you say?
You can make a wristlet cuff with what's left from your snowman sock.
Oh, I threw mine away.
Yeah, that's where mine's
I wish I
going.
would have come up with that idea earlier. What's the matter with you?
If I tell you everything that runs through my mind, we'll be here for days.
Elaine, just what?
Elaine, Jessica, and Marilyn.
Marilyn,
Because I think,
is it Marilyn? He can't read
well,
sometimes.
no, what happens, is you bring up the participants, and I don't know if that cuts your picture out, but
No.
Mary Lynn
Oh,
Miranda.
hey, Mary Lynn, can you hear me?
She's shaking her head, yeah, but you have to unmute.
Unmute, Mary Lynn, because we have a technical question.
If she doesn't know. how to-
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, what's the technical question?
Are you watching this on a phone or on a computer?
I'm on an iPad right now. It's a new iPad that someone gave me and I'm having issues with it, but I'm okay. Why?
Well, because Dave wants to get the view where he can see the participants and all he sees is me, I think. Is that the question?
No, right now I see her because she's talking, but when I click on participants, it brings up a list of people.
Oh, maybe our phone's too small, you can't see the people?
I
Okay,
don't know.
so if you guys have any questions while we're going through this, would you tell me your name, because Steph isn't here, so I don't have the TV hookup, because we use
All
her
right.
phone for that. So I don't know who's here and who's asking.
Okay, no problems.
Thanks. So do we know how many participants we have? Or maybe somebody else can tell us.
Right now we've got 4.
Okay,
It's a big Zoom party.
well, I don't attract as much attention as Steph does. Because I'm horrible at this. I used to be so good. My brain is gone. That's all there is to it. Anyway, I'm going to go over how to get your grid right without having to draw out the lines before we start the free motion portion of the class. So Dave's going to kind of zoom in, hopefully really close. And you're going to have to get my needle plate.
I'll get as close as I can.
Is he getting a close up there?
Yes,
Okay. I've started my grid. I'm almost done. I'm doing this on a smaller sample so that, because I'm at the same place you guys are, not anywhere near the end. So, but I have my grid on this smaller piece and I've got all my horizontal lines and now I'm doing my vertical lines or vice versa, depending on if you're on your head or on your side or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to finish the last few rows by showing you how to change the needle position so that you don't have to mark your grid. So I'm at the fringe line right here. And I just finished and I moved over for my machine, a 2.5 inch stitch. If you stitch 6 stitches from where I came up from this last line, it's approximately a half of an inch. And I'm going to adjust that now. I'm going to put down my foot. I am going to go, well, the way I originally set it up is I have an open-toed foot on here, so I can see really well. My foot happens to cover the entire area of the needle plate where the feed dogs come up. This is a baby lock Alissimo, okay? So if you have one of these machines or a baby lock, this will measure out correctly. If you have a different machine, you might have to fuss with it a little bit, but a 2.5 stitch is a 2.5 stitch. That's all there is to it. So I went over 6 stitches from this last line. Now I'm going to lift my needle up. Okay. I'm going to change my needle position is all the way to the far right now, if you're facing your machine. And I have a mirror image button, and most of you probably do. And I can just push that and it's going to move my needle to the far left. Now I'm going to lift up my foot. I'm going to slide this over, and since I can see through it, I can line up this stitch with the edge of my foot and the stitch line for the fringe. I can actually see down into the needle hole, and I am going to make sure that it's lined up so that I'm going to come down on the same places, on the same line here. If this makes sense. If this does not make sense, let me know. I'm going to bring my foot back down and I'm going to ride my foot right along that stitch line. So I'm going to go ahead. Okay, the width of the width of my ability is a 7 millimeter going from left to right. If yours is 5, you're gonna have to find another point of reference to do this probably, but okay, now I've gotten to the end of my fringe line, you okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch 6 stitches. Okay, and I'm gonna pivot. And now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna bring my foot down, I'm gonna bring my needle up, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mirror image so my needle slides over to the right. Bring my foot up, and then I'm gonna come back and line the edge of my foot with that last line that I just stitched. I'm gonna come back down. And I'm just gonna ride along that line. And it gives me a pretty even grid. I said before, this is a very forgiving project. So if you find that you're not quite a 1/2 of an inch, don't worry about it. It's not gonna make any difference. Oops, I'm going the wrong direction. Hold on. No, that's right. I'm gonna go 6 stitches down that fringe line. I'm going to bring my foot down, my needle up. I'm going to go ahead and mirror image it. And then I'm going to slide right across to where my stitching is going to ride right, or my foot's going to ride right along that line that I just did. I'm going to make sure that my fringe line is right over the needle, the hole for the needle. Bring my needle down. And try not to sew my stabilizer together. I got off a little bit there, but it's not going to really matter. There we go, right on the fringe line. And this is probably going to be one of my last rows here.
Gee, I have a question.
Yep.
It's Jessica. So if you were to, let's say you wanted to do another project besides the shawl, like a scarf or whatever, do you have to have fringe on it for this
No?
to work? I didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you how we're going to finish it off so that you don't have to worry there. You don't need the fringe if you don't want to. Okay. So I'm going to bring my foot down, my needle back up. I'm going to do my mirror image. And then I'm going to slide over, line up on my, the hole of my, for my needle to go down. Let's go just a little bit that way. My last little bit is going to be a little bit bigger. It's not going to make any difference. We're just going to leave it that way for my last row. Okay. We're going to backstitch. You have to backstitch every time you start so we can lock in the stitches, because if you're changing bobbins or anything and you don't, you're going to have to do some repairs after the stabilizer is out. I'm going to put one more stitch in there just to make sure I hit that fringe line. Okay. And I'm going to back up. I think I'm backing up. Hold on. Okay, and we're done with the grid. If only in our minds. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is if you saw the part 2 video that I posted on yesterday, because we lost the original video, we drew, before we put the grid down, we drew a stippling line, okay? And it doesn't have to be tight stippling. This is the line that we're going to be working on with our metallic thread. So the metallic thread is going to be the next portion of the scarf. If you don't want to use metallic thread in yours, you don't have to, but it kind of gives it just a little bit of fun. So I'm going to change my thread out, and I'm going to show you how to wind a bobbin flat, because the thread that we're using is a flat thread, and you don't want to twist it as you're putting it on the bobbin because it will break, and it won't lay flat when you are sewing, and it won't be as shiny or anything. So I'm going to take off my thread director right now. Now, working with metallic thread, if your thread cannot come off straight of the spool, you're going to be very frustrated because it's going to break. The thread's going to break. You know, I had bobbins. What did I do with them right here? So you guys are using opalescence thread. I am going to be using a green metallic for this so you can see it better, because the opalescence is, you know, kind of hard to see what I'm doing. So I'm putting my bobbin or my thread, my spool of thread on here. I am not going to draw the thread through the tension disc or the thread guide. I am going to just go ahead and wind the bobbin by controlling it with my fingers. And the reason why is if the thread comes off the end of the spool, it twists as it goes through, and it's going to break going onto the bobbin, and you don't want that. So however you have to do it in order to get your bobbin wound without twisting the thread. Now, I didn't wear the right glasses. My eyes seem to be deteriorating as we go. There we go. Okay, I put it on there. Get this down below for right now. I'm going to take my thread and I am going to hold it between my fingers gently. I'm going to go ahead and engage my bobbin winder. And as you're going to see, the thread is going to go on completely flat. Oop, we don't want it to go that. Okay. That's not good. And I don't usually have this happen to me. Hold on. We'll try that again. Don't do what I do. It happened. Okay, sometimes you're going to get a spool of thread that's wound incorrectly, and I don't know if you can see this, but the thread is pulling up another thread underneath. This is not good, so we don't want to use this spool of thread. I might be able to get that out of there. Let's see. No, I'll get another spool. Oh. We have another green like that one? Probably not. Okay, I'm going to use gold. Not good for this project, but at least you'll be able to see it. And here we go again. So I'm going to take my fingers out so I keep my thread straight. I'm going to go ahead and get it put in my bobbin. If I can see what I'm doing. Okay. And over there. Okay, now let's go. You're going to wind your bobbin on the very slowest speed, okay? And the reason why you're going to do that is this thread is a polyester and polyester stretches. If you are an embroiderer, you know this. It's slipping and I don't know why. Nope. You shouldn't have this much trouble, but I have one that is wound flat. That's not the one we want. I had one that was wound flat. I'll give it one more go. It shouldn't be doing this, and I don't know why it's hanging up on me. It could be humidity, to be honest with you, because when it's humid out, your thread will stick to itself if it's metallic. We probably have some humidity going on. So we'll give it one more go. And as always, if we're not having technical problems, we're having technical problems. Just of a different kind. Okay, again, on the slowest speed. May have liftoff. I'm going to stop there, but I do have it on there. It is on there flat. The thing that you need to be aware of is when you're winding metallic thread, you're only going to wind your bobbin 3/4 of the way, because if you don't, it'll be on there so thick that it'll screw up your tension in the bottom. So.
So
Does
gee,
this take a certain
all-
amount of bobbins?
Excuse me?
Does it take a certain amount of bobbins? Like you wind up 10 ahead of time?
I don't think you're going to need 10 bobbins, but I would wind like 5 maybe. Or wind
Okay.
everything on the first spool and leave your second spool for your top thread. Then that way you know you're
Okay.
going to have enough. Okay, so when we're starting the next portion here, we're going to be going for free motion. So we're going to put down our feed dogs and we're going to change our foot to a free motion foot, a jumping foot. Your machine should have come with one. Can you hand me my toolbox right there? It would help if I had my foot with me. Okay. So change to free motion, and it's going to be an open toe free motion foot. I know it's here. My brain just isn't engaging. There it is. Okay. We want to make sure that your foot isn't going to bounce too high, so you may have to adjust it. Then we'll get the ankle off. Find that slot. Seeing would be nice. Always remember to bring your bobbin thread up so that you don't get a nest at the bottom. I've already put down my feed dogs. I'm going to put my thread director back on because the thread is going to roll off the spool instead of twisting as it comes off. Most of our machines have the thread laying down like this. And when it does lay like this, it twists as it comes off. If it's coming off like this, you don't get any twist. It comes off flat, okay? And that's what we want. We want it to come off flat because if it doesn't, when you get hit the 16th stitch or someplace around there, usually your thread's going to break. When using metallic thread with embroidery, you have to slow your machine down. You don't really need to slow it down when you're doing free motion because you're not really jerking it. You're not supposed to be jerking it around like a embroidery unit does, the mechanical way. So we're going to go ahead and thread our machine. And we're going to bring up our bobbin thread. Get a little tail there. Hang on to them for the first few rounds. And we're going to make circles. Now the idea is that your circles have to either attach to the grid or another circle. If you leave them hanging, you're going to have some repairs to do. Don't stress over it because this is a forgiving project and you will be able to go back and repair anything that might not be to your liking, okay? So I'm going to
G,
yeah.
are you doing circles on the meandering line?
Yes, I'm doing circles on the meandering line.
Okay, thanks.
That's my metallic line, okay? So we
Okay,
don't
thank
want to,
you.
first of all, when we're doing our circles, we're only going to go around twice or you're not going to have enough thread. And you are going to make them different sizes, but you're going to make sure that they either attach to a thread on the grid or another circle. So now, when doing free motion quilting, some people get a little stressed out. And pretty soon their shoulders, you have to bring the camera up. Pretty soon they're doing this. Their shoulders are up to their ears. That's very painful. And pretty soon you're not going to like what you're doing. It's going to be painful for you. So the whole idea is just learn to relax. If you have a glass of wine, don't drink the whole bottle because you're going to be, sewing your fingers to your project. But, a few sips might calm you down a little bit and that will help you immensely. So I'm going to start on my line right here. And hopefully my foot's going to go. I'm going to follow my line. And I got myself. And I don't know why I'm jammed up here. So let's cut it and see it. Now those stitches are locked in, so I don't have to worry. I'm going to go over that circle again to make sure. But cleaning your machine is a good thing every once in a while, but I can see I have a piece of thread down in here. See if I can get it out without having to take the whole machine apart. Yes, I got it. Good. Steph is really good at cleaning machines. I'm not very fond of it myself. I keep thinking, oh, I could go a little bit further. But when you see fuzz getting attached to the back of your shawl, you know it's time to clean your machine. Okay, let's try that again. When threading your machine, make sure that you keep your thread straight. Okay. those extra threads out of there. Again, bring your thread up. Hang on to it. Shoot, come on. Oh, it's there. I just can't see it. Hold on. Pair of tweezers comes in handy. There it is.
Does it matter that you're doing it upside down now?
Well, not really in theory, because you've got the gold going on the bottom and the top.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't really matter. If I had a different color on the bottom, yeah, it would, but you're right. I probably should turn it over and I'll do that. Thank you for catching it.
It was fringed backwards was what.
That was the key, right? Well, you're assuming I can read. Yeah. Okay, so let's get my thread up again. Okay. You don't have to worry about how big your circles are. And if you get off of your line, don't worry about it. I'll slow down my machine just a little bit because I got a heavy foot here. And I did it again. I have to clean my machine. But anyway, you get the idea. You're going to just do circles along that line and practice them. You're going to get lots of practice in free motion, and you're going to get really comfortable with it really quick. But I know it's something's dirty in my machine down there, and I, try to get away with not cleaning it. So we're going to go through that whole line with your metallic thread on your shawl after your grid. Then we're going to go back and we're going to be doing the blendables thread. So I've got my bobbins wound for that, and I'm going to show you that portion. Come on, go up. There we go. So my thread's definitely getting caught down in there. So the one thing about this machine or Baby Lock machines is you have to unscrew the plate where the Vikings are magnetic, which I really like that feature. Because every time I clean my bobbin case, sometimes I get my bobbin back in there wrong.
I take a picture before I take it apart.
Well, I figured out where that mark goes now on the bobbin case.
Yeah, but I don't have a mark.
Don't you have an Elissimo?
No, I have a brother, but I don't have a mark.
Okay, I'm going to show you. See that little white dot on your bobbin case?
Yeah, I don't have that.
You don't. I'm
No,
not surprised since they're made in the same factory.
I don't have it.
One factory, one company has an ink budget and the other company doesn't.
Yeah, my machine is really dirty. I should have taken that class from Steph. Although it's not going to make me want to clean my machine anymore, but
At least you would know you're doing.
yeah, I know we're doing the right thing. She really gets into it though, doesn't she? And there's the piece that was screwing me up right there. Okay. There's one more in there. Well, that was just not friendly at all. Okay, let's see if that'll help. My mark is over here. This is the hardest part for me. Okay, right there. And I have a bobbin here. Now I chose to put a darker color on the bobbin than a light, than the, don't do that. The same color as the top, just so it's kind of a little bit reversible. I only put one screw in till I'm sure that it's working, and then I usually forget to put the other screw in, which works good for the lazy person. Does anybody here know who Eric Drexler is?
No.
No, okay.
No,
Eric Drexler's dad owns Sulky Corporation, okay? And Eric is one of the best free motion thread painters I have ever seen. He is so precise, it's unbelievable. But he has come into our booth at shows and just sat down and demoed for a while, and then gets mad at me because I only have one screw in my plate. It's not going anywhere. I don't understand what his problem is. He works on machines though, so he might know something I don't. Of course, if your fingers work, that's a good thing too. Okay. So I've got my 30 weight thread in the bobbin. I'm going to be putting my 12 weight thread in the top. The 12 weight thread is the thicker of the two, so that's how you tell the difference. It doesn't matter if your thread goes over the top or off the bottom with the thread director, just as long as the spool can freely move. If it can't, then it's going to hold your thread back, and it's going to either break your needle or shred your, or break your thread, not shred it. If your thread's twisting in there and you have your threading, you either need to change your needle or it's the thread is over twisting. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in the spaces that I'm going to thread my needle first. I have this little guy on my machine that tells me when I'm doing something wrong, and it really kind of irritates me. Okay, I'm going to start over here. I'm going to bring my thread up. I know I can. This is where my little tweezers come in handy. not good. And I know why. Okay. Well, no wonder I was breaking my thread. Nope, still. I don't have it cleaned properly, but you get the idea. Maybe. Let me try one more time. Man, I'm having a day. But it shouldn't be making that noise. This is why I hate cleaning my machine. I can't get it out. Dave left me. You can talk, you know.
I can, but.
You're all alone.
Well, because you don't say the right things.
I don't think that's gonna change.
Stephanie is home finishing her stockings today. Oh, we have to remember to take these to her. The ones on the wall. Just she's gonna stuff them tonight, I think. Stop talking to me.
Mine makes that noise when I haven't threaded it properly.
Well, mine makes that noise every time I try to do something. Okay. So where are you? What's my problem? I have my handy dandy little brush here. But something's catching up. It's got to be right. Wow, that was an impressive hairball.
Well, generally, when machinery knocks after you did something, it's because something you put back in is
Not seated properly.
correct.
I know,
There's nothing to do with fur balls.
but sometimes a piece of thread is caught down in there
No, I
too
know
on
those
top of it.
machines are incredibly finicky.
And they shouldn't be.
I agree.
And it's spun freely. Now see, that looks right. Doesn't that look right, everybody?
Can't see it.
Oh,
The
okay.
camera's too high.
Oh, it's on me. They're not seeing what I'm doing. They're just seeing me stick my tongue out and try to fix my problem. You gotta keep on this,
Well,
honey.
well, you're watching your feet is a lot more entertaining than watching the machine.
No, I don't think so. Okay, I had a bobbin. Here it is. This time I'm going to try this before I put it back together again. Okay, plates.
Need to get that soundtrack. Is it The Price is Right? Do, 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 do,
That's Jeopardy.
do, do,
Jeopardy.
do.
She says. Hey, do they have a new host for Jeopardy?
Ken Jennings.
And where does he come from?
He was
He
the $1
was-
million winner a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, he's been the greatest of all time on Jeopardy, winning the most of anybody.
Wow.
I don't know about
Yeah,
his
he made the papers.
personality.
He made the papers and everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And is
Alex,
he a good host?
I don't know, he doesn't start till after Christmas on
Oh.
TV, because they said Christmas Day is the last show that you'll see Alex Trebek on.
He was good.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked him.
Well, sure, he had one job for 40 years.
And he was the one that wrote all the questions, wasn't he?
No,
That I don't know.
I
I thought
don't know. I don't think
they have
so.
a group that makes the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was the one that wrote the questions. That was the big deal. He's a really smart guy or something.
He seems to know all the answers,
Oh, he,
but he might have a cheat sheet.
Well, all I know is Tom Selleck's family is very happy.
why?
I don't know, it's a pop-up advertisement I get on every device I use. And I don't do advertisements.
Well, you don't know what it's about, why he's happy? Does anybody know why Tom Selleck is happy?
I'm not Tom Selleck.
Nope.
His family is happy.
It could be a,
Nope.
it could be Quebec.
He lives on a ranch.
It's somebody,
He's confusing Alex Trebek with
Tom Selleck.
Tom
Selleck.
Selleck.
Because they both have
I don't think
mustaches.
Alex Trebek's family is happy.
No.
No.
Well, all I know is Joni and Chachi from Happy Days look a lot different now.
Chachi used to live not very far from us.
We used to go to some of the same restaurants we went to.
Yeah, especially-
Joni's dead.
Pardon?
The girl that played Joni, I thought she died.
I think so, from a drug overdose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something.
Something.
Or her health is bad or something, I don't know. But
Well, most
You know
people
what
are
gets
doing
me
it.
on YouTube? If you look up a person, it always says the sad ending of such and such a movie star. I'm like, how do you know it was sad? It just, they died. That was it.
well, if they die prematurely, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But otherwise, not so much.
So let's see. I know.
Ah. Why is it that I can do this at a show all the time and I can't do it? I think I get really nervous on camera kind of thing.
Shouldn't be nervous with us.
And make it an inch
Because she calms your nerves.
Yes, she does.
water.
But she forgets to hit the record button, so that's not too good.
And then when you're here for her, you get on her nerves. So it's a yin and yang.
About 35 years
Probably.
ago, remember when video cameras were the size of a shoebox?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Well, my husband and I, we were going to Florida and he was filming and he said, here, you hold the camera. And I forgot to turn the button off. So 20 minutes of Jeff just kind of doing this on the steering wheel.
yeah, everybody's had one of those. Well, one of the problems, the reason why you can't see the thread is because I told you to put the 12 weight in the top and I put the 30 weight in the, I'm giving up, man. Hold on.
Plus you're upside down again.
The new year will be better.
She's not upside down, she's backwards.
And I'm probably backwards and upside down. There we go, thicker thread. This is what we want.
Yeah, your stabilizer is, you can tell by the board fringe.
It's upside down. Yeah.
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 We learned that from Elaine.
Well, Elaine pays
No,
attention.
Carol.
You're heard it from Carol.
I thought it was Elaine. You guys sound a lot alike.
Carol and I, Elaine and I do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
You
have a
have to-
southern accent. I can
They
have a
can't
Jewish
hear.
accent. Oh, but a day I had.
Gee,
Yeah.
you wanted the dark side to be on the bottom?
Oh, I really don't care at this point.
God, don't mix her up.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, all she's really trying to show you is how to do the free motion circles.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter which is the top and which is the bottom.
If I wasn't
But-
camera
but
Oh,
shy,
yeah, it does
Change.
matter.
Because you did a darker color.
Okay, fringe is right side up now.
Everyone's a critic.
Well, they're
No,
trying
it's
to help me
just-
and I'm just too stupid to catch on.
If I was a
She
camera,
had
I'd
a,
go back there and do it.
she had a darker color in the bobbin,
You're right.
so I didn't think she wanted that to be on the top.
You're absolutely right. And you want the thicker thread to be on top.
Yeah,
So if I could see what the heck I'm doing. Where did my,
I don't know either, but you're doing it very well.
yeah, I'm doing it. I'm screwing up really good, aren't I?
hey, we all have those days.
But I seem to be having a lot of them.
You're still getting well.
And my
Yeah, go with
granddaughter
that.
didn't break her foot, but she's wearing a funny shoe.
let's see if that'll work. So I'm attaching to the metallic thread as I'm going.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm sure that I've anchoring down all sides. And I'm gonna go ahead and anchor to the. So you're gonna get a lot of practice on circles here. You're gonna get very comfortable with them. Don't worry if you go over one a little bit, it's okay. Now I'm going to pick up over here in this little area. But I can come back if I miss something and fix it. After I've washed my stabilizer out, I'll see all my mistakes. Okay, so this isn't like stippling where you don't want to cross over a line. It really doesn't matter.
There's no mistakes, just happy little accidents.
What'd you say?
I said, it's not a mistake. It's just a happy little accident.
Yeah, well, we call them design opportunities. I was making a dress totally on a serger for a wedding and I accidentally cut the butt out of it. And it left me with a design opportunity, let me tell you.
Well, the Ross guy said there was never any mistakes. The painting guy.
I couldn't hear you with the machine going.
I said the Ross painting guy said
Yeah.
there were never any mistakes.
Bob
He was
Ross.
great. He was
Yeah.
really great.
Just happy little whatevers.
So a bunch of figure eights. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you that if you decide to do this project again, you probably never will, but you have to use this kind of stabilizer, because if you use the fabric one,
Right.
it'll draw up and it'll, pucker. If you use anything lighter than the Ultra Solvi, you can also use Badge Master. I don't know if they make it anymore, but anything equivalent to that thickness. This is
Okay.
really durable, and you're not gonna punch it out. Even if you do, you can just cut off a piece and slip it underneath there and keep going. But if it's too thin, it'll just rip apart.
Gee, I
So
have
you
a
want-
question.
Pardon?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I don't have an embroidery machine. And I was thinking if you trace cookie cutters onto that kind of stabilizer, could you make ornaments by doing all that stitching?
Definitely.
That'd be
And
a
it
good
does-
project.
You just have to make sure that all of your stitches attach to another stitch, or else when you wash it out, it'll fall apart.
Okay, you have to cover the whole thing then.
Correct.
Okay,
So, and you might want to go two different directions. You might want to go one direction and then what you want people to see the other, like a thread painting, but you're
Yes.
also attaching to something. So,
Okay.
and I would use a wooden hoop and hoop your stabilizer.
oh, okay.
If you use one
What
of
is
those
that
wooden-
stabilizer called?
Pardon?
What is the stabilizer called that you're working?
I'm working with Ultra Solvi. I sell it by the roll and I sell it off the bolt. So I can put that up on the Steph and G show and price it out per half yard or whatever. But
Okay.
this project here took 96 inches, and then I had to cut, it's only 20 inches wide. And since we needed more than 20 inches for the shawl, I had to cut another piece of stabilizer down the center and attach it with water soluble thread for this project. But
I wasn't watching you when you started this whole thing. I don't think I would have made the shawl, but I wasn't watching, your show at that time. But I just had that thought because someone had made me 4-leaf clovers for St. Patrick's Day, but she has an embroidery machine. And I thought, well, maybe you could use that stabilizer and we could make ornaments for different holidays.
yeah, you can do freestanding angels. Now, the nice thing about this stabilizer is there's a lot of product in it, okay? If you just wash it lightly and leave some of the stabilizer in, you can actually form butterfly wings and make your leaves look crinkly and things, and it'll dry that way. The more you rinse it out, the more the stabilizer comes out, the softer the project becomes. So when we're done with this project, we're going to do a first rinse in like a lukewarm water. You can save that water and use it as starch. The second rinse, you're going to add a few drops of hair conditioner in there, and it's going to pull all the stabilizer out, and it's going to be very soft, and you're not going to have any stabilizer left in there. So depending on what effect you want, be careful how much stabilizer you actually take out. Now, if you take out too much, you can always put it back in by putting a sheet of it over, tacking it down and letting it soak back into the thread. So we can talk about how you do that. But
All right.
don't make
I don't want to take you from your shawl.
Pardon?
I don't want to take you from making your shawl.
Oh,
Keep
well,
going.
I'm only making a sample. My shawl, can you hand me the
I
shawl?
did see that. That was beautiful.
My shawl that I'm actually making is right here, and that's my fringe that I have in there. And I have my fringe on both sides done, and I've got my grid started. But when you're done, see, it's nice and soft, and it just has a little hint of metallic running through it. Can you see the metallic?
Very pretty. Yes, very pretty.
Yeah. So, but in it, you don't have to do the fringe if you don't want to, but you really have to make sure that when you're done, that you go ahead and take the whole perimeter of the grid work and you do a slight little zigzag over that stitching all the way down, so you get everything attached on the
Okay.
edges. So it's going to be just a little teeny zigzag going down when we're done filling everything in. You want your circles to be different sizes. You don't want it to be so uniform that it, you know, it looks boring or whatever. But practice, the nice thing about this is if you have if you want to learn free motion quilting and you're hesitant about it, making this project that it's so forgiving, for one, you have enough room to really get the technique down, because usually when we practice our free motion quilting, we do it on little quilt layers, sandwiches. And by the time you're getting really comfortable with it, you're out of room and you have to use another sandwich, and you're wasting fabric and you're wasting thread and you're wasting batting. Here, you're actually making something at the same time and you're getting the practice in. The
Right.
other thing that you can do is if you have any of Steph's templates, you can use the meander to get a design, or you can use it to get a design in there. Her feathers and stuff, you can put your feathers down first and then fill in with the circles around it, just as long as your feathers are going to be attached to the grid someplace or another stitch. So it gives you an opportunity to do some pretty interesting things. So I'm thinking about doing some wool patches in here that'll be almost like a felting kind of thing. And it'll be a much warmer scarf, not a shawl, but a smaller one. We give you 4 different sizes that you can make. You can do one on a long arm, you could do a shawl on a domestic machine, then you could do a long scarf like a winter scarf, and then there's another fashion scarf that's a little bit shorter and more, you know, more petite. So is there any other questions?
I don't have any.
Have I confused you enough?
Oh, you what?
Have I confused you enough?
No, you're good.
Okay, we're gonna add one more class to show everybody how to finish off their shawl or whatever
Okay.
they're making. And I'll go ahead and schedule that. But yeah, this is the next part. You're gonna do your metallic thread. And then you're gonna go back and fill in with your blendables. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I was spending most of the time threading my whatever I was doing there. Don't remember, but
I have a question, G.
Yeah.
I missed the second one, and so you said something about the line that you made with the metallic. Did that go from corner to corner, or how did it just? I saw that it just kind of went this way and that, but
I stay away from the edges on.
okay.
Okay, you stay away from the edges here. You're running your metallic kind of in the center. This is, I did kind of stippling with a pen, a marker for me to, you know, it's not cast in stone. I am going to go off sometimes and things, but at least I have an idea. On the big one, you can see my stippling there. So that's where my metallic is going to lay down, and then I'm going to go back and fill in. But you
Okay,
have to
so
do-
more or less it goes from side to side, but not off the edge,
right?
and it's random. It's not just hither. It's just not like a line, but it's a meander.
Correct. It's a
Okay.
large stipple.
And then-
exactly what it is.
Okay.
You know, so that, because if you get it too small and too detailed, you're going to use too much thread. We're just trying to get a little
Oh, okay.
bling, just a tiny bit. And if you don't want the bling in there,
A little
don't
bit
put
of
it.
bling.
But it makes it, gives it a little bit more definition. Dave's going to hold it up for you so you can see. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just wanders through and gives it a little bling and highlights, that's all.
Yeah. So, you know, you can do a double set
Okay.
or whatever, but you want it to show a little bit, but you don't want it to take over your whole project.
Okay. All right.
You don't know, it's just like wearing earrings, you know,
All right.
gives you a little something extra. Anyway, we posted the first 2 sessions are already posted to YouTube. You can go to YouTube and put in the Steph and G show, and all the videos should come up. Or you can put Steph and G show Shawl of thread, and the 2 videos should come up for those. If you need to go back and refer
Okay.
to something. And then we're gonna post this one hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow. And we're gonna do a 4th one where we're gonna finish it off. So,
Oh,
and I will
okay.
try to catch up. This time of year is just really rough, you know? And I'm slow to begin with, so that's my excuse though. It's the time of year.
And I'm stupid. So for the slow and stupid show,
You're not stupid.
No,
No, you're not.
he just hasn't, his brain doesn't operate as well as it used to.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Like all of us.
Well, and then neither one of us can hear, so most of the time we are yelling at each other saying what? We refuse to go get our ears checked, which it's more him than me, but you know. Anyway, so we have a really fun relationship. We don't hear what we don't want to hear, and we don't hear what we do want to hear.
and we just make stuff up to support our particular position.
Yes, we fight a lot about what we didn't hear. And he tells me what he thought he heard, and it's nothing but what came out of my mouth. So,
Or what thought came out of
no,
it.
no, no. I know what comes out of my mouth,
No,
even if
you
I can't
just
hear
think-
it.
you just think, you know.
Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you. Let's see, tomorrow Steph is demoing. We won't go through
Okay.
that because it's in class. Anyway, so we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye.